From the summer of 1989, here's unfortunately just part of the world premiere of Bobby Brown's video for On Our Own.
Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. They called the Ghostbusters and they're in control. Had a throwing party for a bunch of children. Well, all the while the crime was under the building. So they packed up big group, got a grip, came equipped, grabbed their proton pack. That's not legal. Get out with it.
What's the point? Like, duh.
Say, kids, do any of you know who hosted The Tonight Show before Jay Leno? It was a guy named Johnny Carson. And here, from June 14th, 1989, is Mr. Carson interviewing Dan Aykroyd about the movie.
Talented and funny guy, and he co-wrote and stars in the new movie Ghostbusters 2, which opens, I think, tomorrow. Tonight here, there's a premiere, I think, and then around the country tomorrow. Would you welcome Dan Aykroyd?